It's psychic whales, I swear. I'm not much a fan of Axe until about halfway through the series. He's proud, he's annoying, he thinks humans are worthless little specks half the time, and at the other half, he's like, OMG, now I have a mouth because I can morph into a human and I can eat cinnamons. Yes, when your major character's evolutionary discourse is he learns to love humans because they make good food, it took me a while to like Axe. I just thought he was funny. So, unfortunately, I'm not very good at explaining it, and I'm going to have to edit a bunch of this out so that it fits. But Animorphs, going through this incredibly long series with, yes, lots of filler, like, Andalite toilets. That was a fun book. Also taught kids war is never black and white. Even the bad guys had a lot that you felt sorry for them for. The Yeerks, themselves, the reason they take hosts is because of the fact that when they're in their just ordinary pool, is what they call it, where they soak up Kandrona rays, which is the only way they can survive. They can only go 3 days without eating these Kandrona rays. They end up dying, shriveling up, otherwise without them. If they're left in the pool, they spend their entire lives swimming around doing absolutely nothing. They can't see, hear. I believe the only thing they can do is touch and smell. And that's their entire life, swimming around in circles in a pool. And almost every single Yeerk's description of being able to go into a host is just the ungodly glory that is having eyes. Just try to imagine going through life without being able to see for the beginning of it, and then being given that moment of being able to. And then having it taken away, because of course 3 days later you have to go back to the pool. Would you want to stay in the pool after that forever and let your host be free, or would you rather control that person against their will just so that you can have that glorious power of sight and movement? Being able to grasp and touch and do things that you could never do before. And it goes and describes that, especially in Cassie books, because that's the one nice thing about having her to the team. She also is, in many ways, the common sense of the team. She's nowhere, whereas Marco is common sense in the way of vicious, and this will happen, even if it's horrible, we have to do it. Rachel is more like bravado, let's do it. It's her major even saying. And Jake doesn't want to say anything, Tobias doesn't want to say anything, and Axe doesn't want to say anything until everyone else has voted. Cassie's the common sense with heart. Like, she has some morals, that's the good thing. The only problem is her morals get very fluid after a while, and that's what gets so confusing. And I really wish that if they had ever made this into a decent TV series, not that horrible one on Nickelodeon, then something more like, Avatar, which would have been so much better. Then, quite frankly, I think you could have gone so much more in depth on Cassie and how her morals make her up. Because there's a lot of problems with her, especially when she morphs. Because if she morphs a predator, 9 times out of 10, she goes insane and promptly kills something and eats it. If she morphs something from a colony, she goes straight into the colony and cannot fight it. Once in animal mode, she's fully very terrifying. Yet, she's the one who has all the morals and the heart. It's kind of like a werewolf sort of thing. You begin to wonder on that one. And that's why I really wish they had gone more in depth on that. They never had a chance, and it was a kid's series. You can't go too in depth on how tortured people's brains get. Still, by the very last book of the main series, you have all the characters who are about anywhere between 18 and 19. Because, mind you, the entire series plays out between the ages of 13 to about 14 and a half. And then the last book jumps to age 19. You have Marco basically as Tony Stark. Jake has gone off the deep end. Cassie is the only one who really has any major okayness after the war. Tobias is gone AWOL and is back to just forever hawk mode. And acts, yeah, horrible things. And Rachel, awful things. Can't tell. Can't explain. Other characters you will meet: Kreyak, who is basically like the devil to the Elemis god. His servant, who is Faust to the Krayak's devil, who is the Drode, who is hilarious and awesome, and I've always imagined as Q, because he has almost the same powers as Q. The Elemist, when you meet him, basically fucks over the Animorphs so many times, it's not funny. And he's using them as his own little pawns to save the world. Which you can say is a good thing, but at the same time, it's never fun being used. Especially the way he does it, and the way he tortures them to do it. Especially Tobias. Krayak's entire motivation is he wants to destroy all life, because why not? That's the game. Literally, it's capital G. The Drode just follows him along because, hey, I'm all powerful because I seriously made some Faustian duel with what is it called? Seriously made some Faustian deal with Krayak power, and in the meantime basically destroyed his entire species, seemingly to do so. It's never really explained, and that would be lovely, but they never made a Drode Chronicles, which I really want to do. And quite frankly, if you want to understand how dark the series gets, but you don't want to start the entire thing all the way through, I suggest finding the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. Why? Because you don't really need the rest of the series to understand it. It explains what's going on, it actually gives background history that the rest of the series do not. So it's useful to explain what's going to happen in the rest of the series, and it happens long before they start. And it is about, first one, the evolution of the Hork-Bajir, which are these giant 7-foot-tall reptilian critters with beaks, blades all over the place, and there are boreal, awesome, bark-eating, sweet, lovable, cuddly things that don't ever want to hurt a damn thing, and were completely controlled by the Yeerks. There's not a single free Hork-Bajir at the beginning of the series. And spoilers on this one, because I do have to explain. The darkness of this one starts with the people who are the good guys, the Andalites, going in, and they realize that the Yeerks are going to win and take over the Hork-Bajir. And so, you know what they do? They create a little time bomb with this sort of poison thing in it that they use to try to annihilate the Hork-Bajir. The good guys try to use genocide in order to make it so the Yeerks do not have an entire planet full of perfect war machines. Now, I'm not going to tell you the background history of exactly how the Hork-Bajir evolved, which has to do with this awesome place called Father Deep, full of monsters and mist, and the Arn, which are the creatures that created the Hork-Bajir. That you have to find out for yourself. You have to read the book. Or otherwise, I might make an entire freaking vlog about it one day, because it is my favorite book in the entire series. Nor will I explain Ciro's kindness, but let me put it to you this way. When an entire species, the Andalites, consider their worst flaw kindness, yeah, that kind of tells you exactly what the humans are in for when they finally do come to rescue them. Sorry, that was a Castiel length amount of quotes there, but that is a major plot point in the books. Well, I'm going to probably have to edit this a bit, and also I'm just going to probably cheat and make 2 videos, because since I missed one yesterday, and I'm not actually doing vlog a day, to hell with it, I can do 2 in one day. I might even do multiple, and be able to get all 5 series in. I don't really care, I'm going to try. So, I will see you next time, whenever that is. This has been Holli, and my funky scarf, and my cat Sally, and my dogs barking and bouncing all over the place, including on the couch. Bye bye.